Priti Patel eats her own words as Britons and MPs erupt over response toward Downing Street scandal. Priti Patel said she would call the police on COVID rule-breaking parties before the Home Secretary defended Boris Johnson this week over the Downing Street Partygate scandal. Ms. Patel became the latest cabinet minister to throw her weight behind the Prime Minister yesterday as she pledged her support amid calls for him to resign. Her intervention came after Mr. Johnson admitted he attended a Bring Your Own Booze event at Number 10 during England's first national coronavirus lockdown. The Tory leader apologised over the event in House of Commons on Wednesday but claimed he did not realise it was a party and thought it was a work event. More than 100 Downing Street staff were invited to the event, which was attended by around 30 to 40 people. The event, held in May 2020, is now being investigated by civil servant Sue Gray to see if it broke England's COVID rules at the time, including a limit meaning people could only meet up socially with one other person outside their household. Ms. Patel was asked on Thursday if she was going to wait for the outcome of Ms. Gray's report before commenting on the matter. The Home Secretary replied, "No. On the contrary. I have publicly supported the Prime Minister, and actually you're speaking to the Home Secretary who spends all my time day in, day out supporting the Prime Minister, his agenda of delivering on the people's priorities and the work that we do." However, her comments contrast sharply to the warning she gave in September 2020 that she would call the police if she saw her neighbours breaking the COVID rules by, for example, having a party. Ms. Patel spoke to Kay Burley about her response to people flouting England's 6-person limit on gatherings at the time. She said, "I'm rarely at home, but if I saw something that I thought was inappropriate, then, quite frankly, I would call the police. It's not dobbing in neighbours, it's all about us taking personal responsibility." Ms. Patel said that if there was a big party taking place, then it would be right to call the police. She added, "Anyone that is effectively defying the rules, they will be helping to spread coronavirus. That is not a good thing, and obviously we all have a role to play. We're all taking personal responsibility, we all have to be conscientious to one another." Labour MP Yvette Cooper also shared a screenshot of an article from The Independent published in September 2020 in which Patel insisted she would call the police if her neighbours were holding parties and flouting the rule of 6 restrictions in England at the time. Cooper commented, "Sept 2020 Priti Patel said she'd call police to report neighbours holding parties. Today she's defending Boris Johnson after he admitted doing just that. As Home Sec, she's responsible for upholding the rule of law for all. Not one rule for your mates and another for everyone else." The allegations that Mr. Johnson broke his own COVID rules have drawn demands for his resignation from Labour, as well as from MPs in his own party and the Scottish Tory leader, Douglas Ross. Today, further allegations of parties in Downing Street emerged, including that 2 separate events were also held on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral on April 16 last year. The paper reported that staffers drank and danced into the night at the 2 events the night before the Queen said goodbye to Philip. Her Majesty attended the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral the next day, with a heartbreaking photo capturing the monarch sitting alone in black as she was socially distanced from the rest of her family. One of the events in Downing Street was held for Mr. Johnson's outgoing Director of Communications James Slack, while another was for one of the Prime Minister's personal photographers, who was also leaving. Today, a Downing Street spokesperson apologised to the Queen, saying it is deeply regrettable that this took place at a time of national mourning. Mr. Slack, who is now deputy editor of the newspaper, also apologised for the anger and hurt caused by the party, saying it should not have happened at the time that it did. People in England were only allowed to socialise in groups of up to 6 people or 2 households at the time.